easiest thing now for an employer is to find someone to just fill that vacancy. They're going to get hundreds of applications, of good applications.
Everybody is replaceable, actually. Even you can't depend on anybody. I believe this, but more in the work, because in life, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm independent. I do everything by my own, everything." But you can't win. You can't win alone. I think I believe you can't win alone. I would not be able to do anything alone.
Oh, you don't have a 9 to 5 now. You must have like a really, flexible, free life.
And when I say lifestyle, people always maybe sometimes associate it to money, But for me, lifestyle goes with the freedom.
The start you said about you can't be dependent on someone else, because that's when you're in a job, right? Someone else is deciding, do I keep Hugo? Is he going to stay in the company? And that's your salary is in someone else's hands. And I realized that in my old job as well, that it doesn't matter how good I am, like that's my ego talking, right? But you have to be humble that imagine tomorrow something, it's not nice to think like this, but let's say something horrible happened and for some reason I can't work tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's got another person to replace me instantly. It's very like the easiest thing now for an employer is to find someone to just fill that vacancy. They're going to get hundreds of applications, of good applications.
Everybody is replaceable, actually. Even when you have your own business, there's probably a million of people who does the same as me. Like I didn't create nothing new. I don't have the pretensions to be the only one doing what I do. But I think the biggest lesson my sales job taught me, sales wise, is that people buy people at the end. Like you don't buy. For example, your channel. Why I come here is because I like the values of your channel. We have a friend in common and everything, but no, I'm sure you have a lot of competition in your field. And why does people want to go on this channel is, I think, for you also, for the host, for the question, the way you look at people when you speak to them and all this. So I despite the fact that there's a lot of different products, this is very similar and everything, at the end people choose to come to you if you have a good heart, a good energy. I really believe in this, And just to come back on what you said, you can't depend on anybody. I believe this, but more in the work, because in life, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm independent. I do everything by my own, everything." But you can't win. You can't win alone. I think I believe you can't win alone. I would not be able to do anything alone. My partners do a lot of the job for me. My goal, of course, is to find clients, but without my partners, I can't do anything, And even talking about relationship-wise, with your girlfriend, boyfriend, or anything, you can't have this individualistic mindset on all of your relations. It's not everything black or everything white. It has to. There's a gray zone also where you have to ask help. You have to be able to have. Me, I know in other lanes of my industry of what I do. The importance of having mentors is very, very important. Mentors can be someone you never met, can be a book, can be something like. You can't do things alone. For me, life is not meant to be alone. Also, of course, you have to take ownership of yourself, what you do, and all this. But we win together. That's my mindset. For example, when I work with people who bring me deals or things like this, they're always surprised when I say, "Oh, you bring me a client, it's 50-50." Sometimes they say, "Oh, why 50-50? Why you don't do 70-30?" Because we win together. You help me, we help you. In the future, we do better business. To sum up everything, independence is good, but to reach your goals, you have to go with people. You have to ask for help. I meet a lot of people who, and even in relationship, out of business, they don't ask for help. Because maybe the background, maybe the pride, the ego. They're always used to do everything by themselves, so it's a sign of weakness. So it's this is it's a waste of time for me. Like having a mentors for me is a life hack. Like you avoid doing mistakes that someone else did for you. You of course you will do mistakes, but different ones. Independence is good, but you can't do everything by your own.
Yeah, I want to ask you a bit more about mentors, but firstly, for what you said to the channel, thank you for those kind words. And from our perspective as well, we know that running the channel, there's so many other podcasts out there. So we have to be humble and constantly look every day so we can evolve.
Uh-huh.
How do we improve the production? How do, the hosts host better? All those things constantly. And then when we get a guest on, it's not just, this is our content. We need to know, okay, ask the guest, what do you want from this podcast? How can we help you achieve your goals? It's not just like content for us, So it's a constant thing with relationships and building our own self-growth. And yeah, so I really like that. And also what you mentioned about the working, like the freedom aspect of it, I think has been something that's changed my life hugely compared to Monday to Friday. People sometimes say like, oh, you don't have a 9 to 5 now. You must have like a really, flexible, free life. But that free life means that on a Sunday, we get up early when everyone else is sleeping to host this conversation with you, and you've flown over. But how's that freedom aspect been for you? Has that always been something that you were thinking about? Because I mean, for me, I love being in control of, the week isn't like Monday. The work week isn't Monday to Friday anymore. It's much more flexible. But how has that been for you?
I enjoy to not, being sometimes Monday I don't work, but on the side Sunday I'll have to go on the call, or I work more and more with different time zones. So, for example, when a client in Canada calls me, I know I'll have to wait for the end of the day or wake up super early to get on the call. So, but it's something, I don't plan to do this all my life too. That I have my goals. I know that I want to achieve a certain amount and certain level of lifestyle at a certain age. So, if I always put it like this, like it's also maybe a cliche thing, but if you compare the 9 to 5 jobs, you will have to do this for probably X amount of years in your life. X amount, we all know it's probably 30 or 40 years. Or the other solution is, maybe you don't know, you put a bet on yourself, maybe it won't pay. But maybe you can work smartly. I'm not saying work harder, in another way, out of the box. And maybe in 5, 10 years, you can have a great lifestyle. And when I say lifestyle, people always maybe sometimes associate it to money. But for me, lifestyle goes with the freedom of traveling. We are all different. Some people will be very happy to travel around Asia for 10 years, living like without a big budget and everything. I respect everything. It's respectable. But at least you choose your life. A 9 to 5 job, and I that's why I'm very admirable of people who find who are happy in their job, but like truly like who are passionate about their job. A 9 to 5 job, for them they don't have the feeling of working and all this. I I've, I admire this kind of people because, for example, teachers or nurses, because that they're not motivated by money. There's something else. Like, maybe even you doing a podcast. I think it's in the beginning. I am sure it's difficult with all the competition on YouTube to get monetized and all this, but I'm sure through the guests you decide to host, you gain a lot of knowledge for you. Like it's a way to discover new things. And so I just think, coming back to freedom, that freedom is to have ownership on your life. And when I say ownership, is to, we were talking about mentors. There's a book I love, it's a very classic one, Outwitting the Devil, from Napoleon Hill. he makes the difference between drifters with drifters. The definition of a drifter is someone who just lives life and let it pass. Like not really being conscious of his decisions and all this. And I think freedom is taking ownership on your life, choosing your battles, and yeah, being actor of your life. Not just a figurant. I don't know how you say this in English. So yeah, for me, freedom is just being able to take a flight. Look, we had our first phone call 1 week ago, or 2 weeks, or maybe 1 month ago, and I told you, oh, listen, I have a friend coming to visit me. He's going to London. Will you be available? You told me on the 9th you're flying somewhere. So yeah, let's do it. And for me, this is the freedom. And it doesn't need a lot of money to do it. It's just having the time. Time, like we were saying, is the biggest asset we have. So use your time as you want.
Very well said. I know that some people, whether it's business or their work, only you know the feeling you have of how it feels the night before, knowing that you have to get up early, like whether or not you're looking forward to it or not. And last night, it was Saturday night. Maybe some people could be out enjoying that. I was excited that, but I'm filming 2 podcasts tomorrow. Hugo is coming. Like, this is a different type of motivation than that. Of course, this is a business, but it's more than just the money. When you genuinely are excited to do what you do,